Hello guys, and welcome back to Mr. Mech Guy's YouTube channel. Sorry I've been gone for a while. I took a little break to try and figure out what I was trying to do with this channel, and I was also taking some time to get further into this game because making the videos is very time consuming, and doing the editing and all that is also very time consuming. So I kind of took a break to try and decide if this is something I still felt like doing, and it is. I'm still trying to figure out how to get out to more of you out there and get more views, because I didn't get too many on the first, and that can be a bit disconcerting, and just trying to get it all figured out. So I'm going to get back into this because I do really enjoy it, and I'm going to try to get myself out there and get more known and do more stuff. So World of Tanks, where have we been? I think it's been about 2 patches since I was last with you guys in 8.5 or 8.6. And I apologize for all the noise. I've got my air conditioning on. It's kind of loud. And in the last 2 patches, we've got a few things that have changed. They changed the accuracy. They changed how heat rounds worked. They added a few maps, Pearl River, which I'm not a fan of. It's just a big camp fest for the most part. If you're on the south, and if you're on the north, you have to push, or pretty much you lose. And then we've got Sacred Valley, which is okay. I'm still feeling it out. It's like there's like 2 flanks to push, maybe the middle if you're feeling brave. And I feel like it's one of the better maps, but I still don't really love it. And they've added some encounter modes, like to mines, which I really enjoy that mode, but it's a really quick round. It usually ends in 5 minutes, which isn't terrible. It's better than some of the draw maps like El Haluf and Red Shur. And Red Shur got a encounter mode which has been much better. The standard, though, is still one of my biggest griefs with this game. That is just an absolutely atrocious map. So, in terms of new tanks, we got the new British artillery. I haven't touched them. I don't really care for them all that much. We got a few new premiums. We've got the German E25 Tier 7 tank destroyer, which I played one time on test server. It's fun. Just I don't think it's for me. I don't feel like spending that kind of money on stuff. So that's the old news. And as for me, I've done some improvements on my garage. I've got some Tier 10s now. I've got the E100 with the new 150mm gun on it. This thing's an absolute beast. I've got the E5 now. I just got this like a week or 2 ago, so I haven't played much with it. The E5 Tier 10 Heavy, which is a very good tank, but I have really bad luck in it, I think is what I'm going to call it for right now. I'm still learning how to play in Tier 10 battles, and there is a learning curve to it because people play very differently in Tier 10 battles than they do in the lower tiers. So working on that, I've started going up the American turreted TD line with the T49, which I will do a review of this and break the mold on saying I wouldn't do any Tier 5s, because this thing is probably my favorite Tier 5 in the whole game, after the original Panzer IV before they nerfed the crap out of it, which just makes me so sad. This thing is awesome, so we'll probably do a review on this someday too. But today we're going to be doing a review on another line that I've been working on very hard. And speaking of other tanks to do reviews on, I will be doing a review on the Cromwell as well. This is a great little British medium, and I'm enjoying this line very much as well, the British medium line. And the only reason I'm going up is because I heard the Cromwell and the Comet are beasts. Haven't heard too much about the Centurions. I think they're kind of forgettable, but we'll see. Maybe I'll find a niche there. I've been enjoying medium tanks a lot lately. They've been working for me, which is why I started going up the Chinese medium line. I was going up it for a long time, but I didn't really commit to it. I'm committing to it now because I got the Type 58, which is the tank we'll be reviewing today, and I'm loving it. But before we do that, let's talk about things that are coming up. Right now, the excitement is about patch 8.8. And there's a reason for that. Patch 8.8, the patch notes are like, they just go on and on and on. They're huge. They're changing a ton of stuff. Some of it looks great. There's a couple things I'm not so sure about, but for the most part it looks very good. They're adding 4 new maps, essentially. They're adding, I'm going to consult my notes, they're adding Swamp, which was an old map that I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I played on, but it looks beautiful. It looks like they changed it a bit. It looks big. It looks like it has flanks, which I like. I don't like wide open maps. It looks like it's got flanks that'll be, you'll have to push up. We'll see. I'm thinking I might get on. I'm on a test server on this computer, so maybe I'll do some reviews of the maps. They'll be quick, just quick run through of what they look like and what I think they're gonna be like. Well, we're getting back Serene Coast, which was one of the worst maps in this game I ever thought I saw. I hated it every time I was on it. It was just a massive camp fest on 2 sides of the hill. If you tried to push, you basically just got torn apart by TDs or Artie, and it was terrible. They brought it back. They added a big chunk of land on the map, and they destroyed the mountainside on the east flank. So it's very different. I'm sorry, that's a west flank. West flank, they destroyed the mountainside. So now it's just kind of a hilly region. It looks like it'll be good for hull down. Then they added a flank in the lake. And we'll see. It could be very different. And then they're adding a new map called Tundra, which looks like a bastardized version of Corellia. I don't like Corellia. I think it's an old map, and I feel like it's boring. And I think the reason I don't like it is because at low tiers it's okay because you don't have to worry about view range, but at high tiers everyone can see each other anywhere, and there's nowhere to hide, and it's not a fun map in my opinion. I think it needs to be retired. And then, so Tundra kind of looks like it, but it looks like it'll be more interesting. It's got sniping spots, it's got flanks, it's got some diversity to it. It's also very pretty. And then we're getting back Comarin, which I never liked that map. I thought it was a big suicide map. Didn't like it, and it doesn't look like they've changed it very much, so I'm not too hopeful for that. We're getting new Chinese premiums. We're getting a T-34-3 Tier 8 medium, and we're getting a 113 Tier 8 heavy. Haven't really seen them. I've read all the stats. It looks like the T-34-3 is going to be a faster, less armored version of the Type 59 with the 122 on it. And then the 113 looks like basically an IS-6 with better armor and better handling characteristics. So that one's intriguing to me, but there's people saying it might get Tier 10 matchmaking, and that won't be very good because it still has a 122 on it. So right now you can't access them on the test server. If they do come on, I'm going to play them because I do want to buy one of them probably, and I want to see what they're going to do. They are changing the super Pershing, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the big nerf that everyone said it was going to be. And I have two buddies who have the super Pershing, and they like it, and so it's going to affect them. So I want to find out what's going to be the big difference there. They're adding a Russian medium line, which is going to be very similar to the current medium line on paper, sort of. They're adding a Tier 6, Tier 7, and a Tier 8, and they're skipping Tier 9 for now, and then they're adding a Tier 10. The Tier 10 looks like it's a mirror image of the T-62A. The Tier 8 is a funky little TD looking thing. Haven't played it, looks funky. The Tier 7 is interesting because it's a rear turreted medium tank with a big gun. And then the Tier 6 kind of looks like just a small, kind of a bigger T-3045. So we'll look at that. Then the Germans are getting a modification on their medium line. Well, it was a medium line. They're getting like an addition to the heavy lines. This Tiger line that's getting modified. The VK-36 is turning into a heavy. The VK-30001H is becoming a Tier 5 heavy, and they're changing the stats drastically, but adding some guns to it. And then they're adding a Tier 4 German heavy, which is called the Bruchswagen 2, which is Breakthrough Tank 2. And they are changing the Tiger line's engines, and the Panther 2 and E50 as well. They're taking off the top engine, and then they are changing the tracks so they have less resistance and they turn faster. And the Tiger 1H's gun is getting modified as well. So some interesting changes coming for 8.8. But today I want to talk about the Type 58 medium tank, the Chinese Tier 6. I fell in love with this tank, and I didn't think I was going to because on paper its stats are very boring. They're very blah. And I feel like that's something that all medium tanks have. Like if you look at the Type 59's stats, it looks very blah too, but the Type 59 is one of the most deadly tanks I play. And I don't know if it's because it suits my playstyle or what, but for some reason it just works. And I don't have any crew or anything on the Type 58 right now because I'm done with it. I already have the T-34-1, which is the Tier 7, which I'll be probably doing a review of very soon. And I also have the IS-2. I unlocked both sides, and I'm going to climb up them both because I think they're both great. I love the IS-2, and so far I like the T-34-1. I played 2 games in it, but they were both great games. The Type 58 is awesome. And going into the Type 58, I'm not going to review these first 5 tanks because I think they're very boring. The only one that had anything to talk about was the Chiha, which is a very good Tier 3. Big deal. The M5A1 Stuart was a scout tank at Tier 4, so it was atrocious. And the Type T-34 was just kind of meh. It was kind of quick. the gun didn't do much, and it was just like blah. So it brings you into the Type 58. And I fell in love with Type 58 immediately. It just has whatever it is, it's got it. So it has 750 hit points, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it feels like a lot. It's kind of standard for a Tier 6 medium tank. And it was plenty of hit points. I survived a lot of games in this thing. It only weighs 33 tons fully loaded, or maybe 34 tons fully loaded, with a 520 horsepower engine. I know it says 500, but I don't have a top engine. It's 520, which is plenty. It's reasonably fast tank. It's not like, it doesn't haul ass or anything, but it moves. It moves. It's zippy. And it's compounded by the fact it gets 42 traverse speed, which is good. Not great, just good. Does the job. The engine also only has 12% chance of fire. Don't even know if I got set on fire once in this tank. That's nice. Speed limit's 55, which you'll get to. I'd say on main road, on like flat ground, it'll do 45, no problem. Unless you're like, you know, in water or swampland or whatever. And climbing, it would do in mid-20s. It wasn't bad at all. It wasn't bad. The armor. The armor on paper looks really garbage, but it works. It's only 45 on the fronts and the side, and then it's 40 in the back. Obviously, don't get shot in the back of the sides, duh. And the front, surprisingly bouncy. This thing bounced tanks, or bounced tank shots. It did. I'd say unless someone was shooting at you with, like, you know, 100 penetration or higher, and they got a straight shot on you, it wasn't gonna pen. It was nice. You got a couple weak spots you gotta take advantage of. You gotta be aware of, but otherwise, just, you know, keep your weak spots hidden. You can't really go hull down because this thing has no gun depression whatsoever. It's really, really lacking gun depression. One of the biggest weaknesses on this tank. But the armor is surprisingly bouncy, and the turret armor is 90 in the front, and then, you know, kind of garbage on the sides. I just don't get shot on the sides of the back. But I would bounce stuff off the turret all the time. Cupolas are kind of big, kind of a weak spot, but, you know, they kind of hard to hit for these lower tanks with not very accurate guns. Look out for the German TDs. They can tear this thing to shreds very quickly. And now we talk about the gun, and it starts with an 85. That's plenty fine. It's got 120 pen, 160 damage. And then you move on to this 85 here, and this thing's awesome. I don't have it to put on and show you, but it looks basically the same. 12 rate of fire, which is great. 130 pen. I put a few gold rounds on it so I could pen some tier 7s, because you do see tier 7s and tier 8s in this thing. And it would pen them just fine. I mean, 175 is like tight. It's like medium tank penetration tier 8. And then 160 is fine. It's pretty decent damage. And then the rest of the stats, 0.38 accuracy is decent. And a 2.3 aiming time, which is decent. Just decent stats all around in this tank. It works. And then, you know, you take into the fact it's got a 48 turret traverse, which is quick, and a reasonable 370 meters of view range. It was great. It's just a good tank for getting around, flanking, and just I could control whole flanks in this tank. If you're a top tier, this thing's a monster. I'll show you a couple of games. I've got two that I got in mind to show you. They're both Kolobanovs. Not Kolobanovs. What am I talking about? I'll look it up in a second. Kolobanov's medal. I don't have one of those, sadly. It's just great for flanking, and you can push with heavies. The gun was good enough to snipe with. I did plenty of sniping, and I think you'll see it in a few of the matches I had. Riley Walters, that's the medal. Thank you. It came to me. I got 2 Riley Walters in this thing, and I've only gotten 3 in my whole career, which is interesting, but I got them in this, and I would go on tears with this tank. It was awesome. So let's look at my service record really quick with this thing. It was surprising, just a surprising tank to play. I just really enjoyed it. 114 battles, 55% win rate. I got my mastery like in the first 15 matches I played with it. Did 1.5 kills per battle. It was just great, and I survived 37%. That's a little above average. In 7th percentile ranking of the tank. Good. It was just a great tank to play. So I got a couple of battles I'll show you with it, and show you how it performed so admirably for me, and hopefully we can make it work for you too. Alright, here we got a game for you in the Type 58 to show you here, showcasing in 4 minutes what this tank can do. And this is one of I think the most impressive games I've ever had. And to be fair, everything's kind of in my favor here. I mean, I'm high tiered, good chance to win, and so I'm on a reasonable team. But there are some good players and 2 Hellcats on the other team. So Hellcats can control a tier 6 battle as well as anyone. I've seen it done, and that's another thing I'm getting close to. I'm very excited for. So, but in this one here, we're on the new version of Mines, which is the encounter, which I really like. And you're going to see why I like it, because it kind of favors really aggressive tactics, which is how I like to play. So, we're starting in the south, and I kind of got started in this medium spawn, which is over on the southwest corner of the map. So, what I like to do is I like to push up into the hills right away if I'm in a faster tank. And if I can, get up into the hills. If I can't, I'll sort of just poke around there and try to take anyone out who's trying to get up there, because the hill is incredibly important on Mines, and then on Encounter it's doubly important because they overlook the cap. So I'm looking at what's going on here, and we got their Hellcats are racing up there. Our Hellcat's going up there. He already got chewed, but he traded off. I'm gonna put this into my mode so you can see what I was doing. And this is just a good idea, is just getting over here and taking out people who are on the hill. Okay, there's kill one. And here's the DPM. Here's the DPM of the Type 58 working, that 12 rounds per minute. Alright, so we'll push up now. Did some damage. Those guys are both up there, one-shot kills. I'm going to pull up to this rock. Took a nice cool snapshot right there. Panzer IV's gone. Alright, this is an awesome shot. I peeked through the corpse of the Panzer IV. I know this Hellcat's going to try to use his awesome gun depression to get down, get some good shots on me. Let him poke. Right through the gun mantlet. No respect for your gun mantlet, Mr. Hellcat. You can't deal with this tank. So they're getting pushed around, and look what's happening. They're on cap, and we have two KV-1s who aren't really engaging. So I'm going to show you how to reposition in Type 58. Going 50 kilometers an hour, you just pull around, and you're on the other side in about 30 seconds. They are fast capping with 3 people right now. We are in trouble. So I'm trying to get over there as quickly as possible. The KV-1s are just lingering. There's a Hetzer right there. Put a good shot. He can tear me apart if he's got the dirt. So I want him out. Okay, he's gone. Now we got less than 30 seconds. 4 kills. Look at that gun, just snapshotting. Alright, I know at this point, if I don't get on cap, this is over. So I'm going to race in. It's a little bit of a struggle getting uphill, only doing about 30 kph. 6 seconds. Oh my god. And I get on just in time. Someone actually stalls, but I'm now stalling the cap. Get engaged by a brutal little M5. He doesn't care what I'm in. It's actually hit me for 50 damage. Killed my damn radio man. What a jerk. Teammates are saying nice save. The Hellcat that was on the hill, unfortunately he couldn't help me out. He got killed. I'm on kill number 5. There's kill number 6. ELC gone. I mean, you see, for tier 6, this is good damage, doing about 180 on, 180 to 200 a hit. It's awesome. AT2 there. That can be a problem at tier, even a tier 5 tank. That can be a problematic one for a not very accurate, not great penetration. But he's getting chewed up a little bit. I'm just biding my time. Probably could have poked already, but I want to make sure he wasn't going to pin me in. I should have aimed that one better. That wasn't great. There we go. That was much better. There's kill 7. Alright, so there's 2 tanks left, and I'm getting a little bit greedy at this point. I see an SU-100 and a KV-1S, and I want it. So I'm driving in there, and I take a shot right through the hull from the KV-1S. Get a bad ricochet off the SU-100, but I want to finish him. So I aim for the upper hull. There we go. Alright, KV-1S is kind of sick of my shenanigans, though. I put a good hit into him, but he says nope. So there's 8 kills in just a little bit under 4 minutes. I don't know if I've ever done that before. That was a lot of fun, and it really showcases everything this tank can do. So, and then they take him out. So that's the end of that battle. So I'm gonna jump into the end plates for that one. We'll show you what I did for that one, and then we'll do one more video. Alright, here we are looking at the end plates for that one. Like I said, it was 8 kills in 4 minutes, which has got to be a personal record for me. We can see that I just damaged almost everybody on the team, with the exception of the Covenanter, who I apparently just saw him. Apparently my stare wasn't enough to kill him by itself. Oh well. next feature for the Type 58. Get on that, wargaming. With 8 kills, obviously I secured the Top Gun medal, and I secured myself a Radley Walters, which I only have 3. This was the 3rd one. I'm not typically really much of a kill owner per se. I'm more of a damage dealer, but I do a fair amount of kills, but getting tons of kills in a battle isn't necessarily my forte. So this was really nice. It was a 3,500 experience on a double, and credits are wherever they are. Let's look at the team ratings. I didn't have a ton of backup per se. There was a couple guys who did a really good job. For the most part, though, it was just a shooting gallery on the enemy team, and they really just weren't hiding from me. 22 shots fired, 17 of them hit, 2 didn't pen. But you could see that the gun was just working great. There's even a few shots on the move there that they connected. I think one was on the M4. The accuracy is good enough. You can make this tank do some work, and the rate of fire is great. So if people are just sitting out in the open, you're just going to tear them to shreds. Now, if there's one thing I probably didn't show you in this video, was the armor, because I didn't really get shot at much, and when I did, it was towards the end when I was trying to be a little too cocky with that KV-1S, and I paid the price for it. Don't let that happen to you, because I probably could have easily had 9 kills there if I had just been a little more patient. But for the most part, one thing you can do with the Type 58, which I did do in this, was not get shot at for the first couple minutes of the battle. I really didn't take any hits because this is a maneuverable tank, so you can duck and dive out of cover, and you can play peekaboo, and if you do have to take a couple shots, you have either the HP to absorb it, like you can take 2 shots from a KV-1S, or you can try to bounce a couple shots if it's from lower penetration guns. So I didn't really get to showcase any bouncing per se, but I did showcase that you can drive around and play peekaboo and use cover and just sort of flank around people and drive them nuts. Like, what I like to do is I like to aggro guys into shooting at me, and then I hide in cover until they go fight someone else, and then I'm on their sides and they're dead. So this tank's great for that sort of, hey, look at me, now look at someone else, and now I'm on your ass and now you're dead. It's great for that. So this is just a great showing of what this tank can do. So I'm going to boot up one more, I think, for this. I'm not sure which one it's going to be yet. I got to pull through. I had 100 some odd battles to show with this thing. So one more battle, and I think that'll wrap it up for our review on this glorious little medium tank. Alright, here we are going to look at a second battle in the Type 58. This one's on the Arctic region. I don't know why XVM's open. There we go. And looking at this one, we are mid-tiered with 1 tier 7 on each side. Arctic region on the north, which I actually kind of like this map, especially from the north side. I feel like it's got a bit of an advantage when it comes to pushing down the hill. And the Type 58, I think this battle, like the last one you saw, that I feel it works best in sort of an assault flanking format, whereas you get into a spot where the enemy might not expect you to be, and then use the awesome DPM and accuracy of this gun just to punish anyone. And you're going to see that I basically just put half their team in place here by this one starting place that I like to do. So we'll get this one started. I'm platooned up with Frodo and my other friend Adam, and we are going to see what's what on this Arctic region tier 7 game. So start off, I'll just speed this up a little bit. The nice thing about this tank is it's relatively quick, so you really can get into position really quick. And this is a spot I really like over here, on top of this pillbox. Over here, you can get on top of this, and it's relatively well covered, and it gives you a good view of this hill over here that TDs love to camp on at the beginning of the map. And I don't like letting those guys pin my team, especially if we're trying to control the middle area. I feel like this middle section is incredibly important on this map, and whoever owns it's probably going to win. But you need to be careful because it is visible to the whole map, and everyone can take snipes at you. So here we see this is already paying off. I got one of their, basically a scout tank. I put myself into my view. You can see that I tracked him, and now I'm just going to let the gun do its thing. Boom. And look, another target poked up. And you see this gun, it's just a machine gun. And it hits home a lot. It's relatively accurate. I really like that. It makes it really able to just pin tanks down and just shred them, especially if they don't know where I am. And I think I have 6th sense and I have not been spotted. Oh, look at Hellcat. There we go. I was hoping to get a track on him, but I didn't get it. So, let's take a blank shot. Hope we can get something. Nothing there. So we already got 2 tanks out of the game, and it's not even 2 minutes into the game. So 2 kills, 2 minutes, like that. So I think this spot is just about worn out its welcome. I don't like to stay here very long because you can only do so much help. I like to just get here to stop the initial rush of TDs trying to tear our team apart. So I am going to relocate. And this is what I think this tank does so great, and why I really am coming around to medium tanks, is the fact that you can... There's a Hellcat back again. Didn't get so lucky on that one, but he was moving. That's a far shot. That's almost a 500-meter shot. Alright, so I see that we are pushing down the hill over here. Adam and Frodo are. And there we go. Caught a KV-1 trying to get across and lit him on fire. Put one more into him for good measure, and then watch him roast. Awesome. Love that. Love that. Oh, KV-1S. There we go. Just keep putting out the damage. You know, 3 minutes in, got 3 kills, and we're still putting out damage. I've already done 1,500 damage at a tier 6 medium. This is what this thing does. It just brutalizes anything gets in its way, and you're fast enough to get out of the way. It's small enough that it's hard to hit at range, and it does have some armor to keep it alive. And even if you can't keep it alive via armor, you've got hit points. BDRG-1B, he's got a big gun. Let's get him out of here quickly. I'm getting hit by the TDs on the hill. There's a Cromwell and a Hellcat over there. Get the BDR out of there. I'm telling Adam and Frodo to push because I've got pressure on them from the side here. Just doing what this tank needs to do, which is flank. Still having trouble penning this AT-8. I should aim higher, like that, yeah. That's the weak spot. Okay, he's out. 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes in, 5 kills. E2, chew him up. He's gone, nice. Okay, now, this game is just about over. As you can see, I've shown you 2 replays where we just controlled the map. And within 5 minutes, we've got this game well in hand. It's 9-1 when one of their teammates, I believe, killed himself or something, or one of our guys did. Someone always does that on this map. Maybe it's a suicidal map. It just makes people feel like, oh, we got nothing to live for. So here we go. We got a Hellcat who knows what he's doing. He's hauling down, and he's putting out the shots, and he's got that big gun. Bounced off the mantlet, which you can have happen against Hellcats if you're not shooting a higher penetration gun, which this is not. It's only 128. Thought I could sneak one in there. No, and unfortunately Frodo gets killed by him. Alright, there's a Cromwell up here. I'm not too worried about him. My gun does more damage. I am a little chewed up though, so I'm trying to be careful, and I know that I'm nursing a top gun here, and I want that. There we go. The T-29 knocks him down. Let's fast forward this a little bit. The Hellcat's right there. I'm going to push up quickly. Adam engages, gets in there, put some shots into him, and I'm going to kill steal, basically. I loaded a gold round. There we go, right in the top of the cupola, or top of the turret, and that was just an awesome result. So let's take a look at the end plates, and we'll do some final evaluation on the Type 58. Alright, here we're looking at the end credits, or end plates, for that last game. We had an Arctic region, as we can see. I got secured my top gun, which was very exciting. This was during a ×3 weekend, I think about a month or so ago. I've been done with the Type 58 for a couple weeks now, so this was kind of just a throwback to some of the older games I did, because I really enjoyed this tank, and it's one I really wanted to review. This tank really brought me around. And I don't know why this hasn't happened before. I've been mostly a heavy tank player for most of my career on World of Tanks. And it wasn't until very recently that I decided I should probably try dipping into some of the medium tanks. And I had done it with the Germans already, but the German mediums play a lot differently than, like, I would say a normal medium, like, let's say the American mediums and the Russian mediums and the British mediums, for example. The Germans they don't really have the armor or the guns really to be crazy flank tanks. I do have the Panther II, or I had the Panther II. I'm actually out of it already, and I really did enjoy that. But for example, with the Panther I and the VK3002, those tanks were really more support tanks than like flanking tanks, and it had to do a lot with their guns. And when they nerfed heat, that kind of changed the way the VK3002DB played. And I don't know, the Germans didn't seem to like give me an epiphany on mediums, but this tank, the Type 58, did. I'm really, really enjoying medium tanks, and I really should have probably picked up on this earlier since I've had the Type 59 for for 2 years at this point. And I always loved the Type 59. It's my favorite tank, and it's a medium tank. So why I didn't jump into the medium tank pools and tech trees is beyond me, but I'm glad that I've changed it around, and I'm really starting to enjoy it. And the Type 58 really just showed me how, with having good speed, low silhouette, and a great little gun that when you can get, you can aim your shots and you can just sit there and punch people, they're going to die. And this tank has just been a joy for me, and it's quickly become one of my favorite tanks, and I'm really sad that I'm done with it. But I'm moving on to the T-34-1, and I've already played a few games with that, and I can tell that's going to be a great piece of machinery as well. So, and I also have the Cromwell, and the Cromwell also seems like it's going to be great. So these medium tanks I'm very excited about. So we can see here that I damaged 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tanks, killing 6, getting some spotting and or tracking damage on a few as well. Just able to put the paint out. I did almost 2,300 damage, which is awesome in a tier 6. I mean, those thing has 750 hit points. That's 3 times the amount of damage. So I was the top dog in the battle. Putting out almost I will say like a third more damage than the guy below me, who was in the T-29 for the record, and he had a good game. I was watching him. He was pushing up while I was doing all the flanking, so he did a great job. Thank you, Swan River. And unfortunately, Adam and Frodo weren't able to quite, to help out as much as they probably would have liked. But they did a great job pushing down the hill, so I could get on the side and flank and just basically just tear this team to shreds. So it was great on there, almost 1,000 experience for me, and then times 3 it was 4,300 experience. So gotta love that. I mean, that's great in a tier 6. And this thing's a decent little earner. I got some extra for the event, but I made a good amount of money playing with this thing. So we can see here the accuracy was pretty good. 22 out of 18. A couple of them I was taking shots at the Hellcat, who was either hulled down or moving. So I mean that's to be expected. And some of them were at extreme range, like almost 500 meters. A few things trouble penetrating. I think that was with the AT-8. I was having some trouble penetrating him. And as you can see, the armor wasn't really working for me. I mentioned this thing has decent armor, and I wonder if I should retract that a bit. It is a medium tank. It doesn't have great armor. It'll bounce stuff that's lower than it. It might bounce a couple of the smaller guns at its tier, but really, if you're up against tier 7s and tier 8s, it's going to go through, and it's going to go through anywhere. So don't rely on the armor like you shouldn't really do with any tank for that matter. Use this tank's mobility, and use its ability to just tear tanks to shreds before they can get you, to your advantage. So the armor really didn't do much work here, but I think what you can see here, and this is going to be my sort of summation of Type 58, is that this tank works best when it's on the move and when it's being put in a spot where it can put out DPM. That's what you need to do with medium tanks. You don't want to sue a scout with it. I mean, it's reasonably quick. It's not a T50 though. It's not a A20. It's not a Leopard. It's not a speedster tank. It's just a very quick tank. But you want to use that to control the flanks. I showed you on the first battle, I went from one side of mines to the other side of the mines to stop the cap in a relatively quick time. That battle I put out 8 kills in under 4 minutes, and this one I had 6 kills in almost 4 minutes. So you can really, as long as you can just get on the sides of people while they're focused on other people, this thing will shred anything, and that's what it does best. And so you need to have a bit of teamwork with people. You really can't do 1v1 with the Type 58, unless it's something lower with you or something on tier and you can just straight out outplay them. In which case that's up to player skill too. I mean, and using the map to your advantage too, because this tank has the gun depression's kind of weak on it. Like all the Chinese tanks, it's not great. I think the T-34-85 probably has gun depression, and it's got a better gun for that matter. I really wish I'd played that. I might actually go up that line because we have the new Russian medium line coming out, and you have to go through the T-34-85 to get it. So that might be an excuse for me to try that tank out. Wouldn't bother me if I had to. So this is a great little tank. I can't recommend it more for someone who's looking to go up a medium line. The Chinese medium line has been endlessly rewarding for me, and I really enjoy it, and I really like it. And I'm sad that I'm done with it, but I was glad that it turned out to be much better than I was expecting. And coming up, I'm probably going to be doing a review of the T-34-1, the Cromwell, and the IS-2, because those are 2 tanks I've been working on quite heavily over the last few weeks, and I'm really enjoying them. and I want to show you guys what's up with them. So I should probably also get doing an AMX ACMLE 48 as well, because I think I'm almost done with that tank, and I want to kind of get some reviews done on the tanks that I've been trucking on. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments list below, and I will get to them. As always, if you like this, please subscribe and please like it. That's very appreciated. And this is Mr. Mech Eye on YouTube, signing off.